Hi guys! The internet is full of video recordings of these monsters. You can choose to believe in it or not, but only you can decide. So today we present to you top 5 creatures caught on camera. 1. These hairy ape men are probably the most witnessed unknown creatures in the world. Whether they are called Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, skunk ape or Yowie, they have been seen in isolated woodlands and mountain areas in virtually every corner of the globe, and the descriptions, from the North American Northwest to Florida to Australia, are remarkably consistent. Taller than an average man, 7 to 8 feet, covered with long brown or auburn hair, or white hair in the case of the Yeti. A strong, repugnant odor. Large feet, as evidenced by castings of footprints. An aversion to man. A piercing, eerie howl. The vast number of sightings, many by highly reliable witnesses, gives Bigfoot the best likelihood of being a real creature as yet unknown to science. We may find out someday soon. Sightings seem to be on the rise as mankind encroaches deeper and deeper on the wilderness, and technology may aid in the search. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization recently announced its intention to place motion-triggered digital webcams in various areas of forest where the hairy beast has been seen. This 24-hour surveillance with potentially thousands of computer-based witnesses looking on will dramatically increase the chances of obtaining credible evidence. For the die-hard skeptic, nothing less than a captured specimen will do, or at least some other tangible evidence. And one that could qualify has recently emerged, an impression of Bigfoot's butt. Researchers in the American Northwest have found what appears to be the impression in the ground of where a large hairy primate has sat. 2. Loch Ness Monster. Despite excellent expeditions with sophisticated electronic equipment, the lake monsters of the world continue to elude scientists. Yet spontaneous sightings by good witnesses, although rare, persist. The Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, is undoubtedly the most well-known of these aquatic mysteries, but other deep, cold lakes around the world have their own legendary beasts. Chussie in the Chesapeake Bay, Stursey in Sweden's Lake Sturstjön, Selma in Norway's Lake Seljordsvatnet, and Champ in New York's Lake Champlain, among others. Descriptions of this creature, too, are amazingly similar. A large creature with a long neck, a horse-like head, a humped back. Most sightings report the humps protruding from the surface of the water, but occasionally a lucky witness will see the creature stretch its neck high above the water and look around a bit before submerging. Photo and video evidence is rare, and although some of the photos are tantalizing, most proof is fuzzy or inconclusive at best. If the creature does exist, many researchers suspect that it could be a kind of plesiosaur, an animal from the age of the dinosaurs that is thought to have become extinct more than 66 million years ago. 3. Even though some sightings date back to the 1970s, El Chupacabra, the goatsucker, is primarily a phenomenon of the 1990s, and its fame has largely been spread by the internet. The sightings started in earnest in 1995 with reports coming out of Puerto Rico of a strange creature that was killing farmers' livestock, chickens, ducks, turkeys, rabbits and, of course, goats, sometimes hundreds of animals in one evening. The farmers, who were familiar with the killing practices of wild dogs and other predators, claimed that the methods of this unknown beast were different. It didn't try to eat the animals it killed, for example, nor did it drag them away to be devoured elsewhere. Instead, the creature killed by draining its victims of blood, usually through small incisions. Then came the bizarre eyewitness descriptions, about the size of a chimpanzee. Hops about like a kangaroo. Large glowing red eyes. Grayish skin and hairy arms. Long snake-like tongue. Sharp fangs. Quills running along its spine that seem to open and close like a fan. Some believe it may even have wings. Toward the end of the 90s, the sightings of Chupacabra began to spread. The creature was blamed for animal killings in Mexico, southern Texas and several South American countries. In May and June of 2000, a rash of incidents took place in Chile, according to certain newspapers there. In fact, some of the most incredible claims yet came out of those sightings, that at least one of the creatures was caught alive by local authorities, then handed over to official agencies of the US government. For there is a terrifying creature, they say, that haunts the dense pine barrens of New Jersey, and its frightening appearance earned it the name of the Jersey Devil. The legend of the Jersey Devil dates back to about the mid-1700s when it was considered an omen of disaster or war, but multiple sightings did not begin until the early 1900s. Some researchers claim that more than 2,000 witnesses have reported seeing the creature over the centuries. Although rare, sightings continue up to the present day. Descriptions vary, but these are the most commonly cited attributes: about 3.5 feet high, a head like a collie dog and a face like a horse, a long neck, wings about 2 feet long, back legs like those of a crane, horse's hooves, walks on its back legs and holds up 2 short front legs with paws on them. Note the similarities to Chupacabra. Unexplained animal deaths and mutilations have been blamed on the Jersey Devil. Dozens of eyewitnesses claim to have been frightened out of their wits by it. What could this creature possibly be? The theories are similar to those cited for Chupacabra, but something scary definitely seems to be out there in the New Jersey woods. 5 elves and fairies. There aren't many people who take seriously the existence of elves and fairies in today's society. Yet there are people who will swear on the heads of their grandchildren that they have seen them with their own eyes, just as plainly as others have seen ghosts, Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. The stories of elusive little people are as ancient as civilization itself and can be found in virtually every culture on Earth. Most familiar to us are the legends of elves, dwarfs, leprechauns, and trolls from Europe and Scandinavia. They have been the subject of dozens of children's fairy tales, books, myths and inebriated tales. William Shakespeare made them central characters in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Generally, fairies were described as tiny ephemeral beings with wings who resided in forests. Elves, dwarfs, and leprechauns were likewise residents of the forest. Unlike fairies, however, they were quite human in appearance, except for their diminutive size. They were often pictured as having their own miniature civilization, hidden away from the human world. On a summer night in 1919, 13-year-old Harry Anderson claimed to have seen a column of 20 little men marching in single file, made visible by the bright moonlight. He noted they were dressed in leather knee pants with suspenders. The men were shirtless, bald and had pale white skin. They ignored young Harry as they passed, mumbling something unintelligible all the while. Elves and fairies were considered quite real in past cultures and were a familiar part of their rich folklore. In today's technological society, perhaps, we've simply replaced them in our imaginations with little gray aliens. This video was made on /www.thoughtco.com. If you like this video, please subscribe and leave a comment.